So here are a few thoughts about worry. I remember years ago I was with a group of people and people were talking about what they were worried about. And they kind of looked to me and I said, I don't like to worry. And they looked at me and they said, well, we don't like to worry either, but, and the sentiment seemed to be, we don't like to worry, but we have to. We have to. It's a dirty job and somebody's got to do it. So we're worrying on your behalf. Maybe you could pick up some of the slack and do some of your own worrying. It's ridiculous, but this is how life is. I remember that my grandmother and I, we had many years of correspondence, and she used to, when I was living in Boston, going to college, and then I moved to Manhattan, I was living in New York, she would write to me all the time, I just pray that something terrible doesn't happen to you. And I would get that in the letter, and I would read that, and I'd think, well, how does that work? Is she thinking of something terrible happening to me and then drawing a circle and a line through it? Like she's thinking of me being raped or attacked, and then a circle and a line through it. I just pray that something terrible doesn't happen to you. Of course, that was her orientation, that there was this high probability that me living in the city as a single woman, something terrible would happen to me. And so she didn't want that to happen. So I would write back to her and I'd say, how about this? How about praying that something wonderful does happen? How about that? Or how about just praying to know that I'm well? Right? So we're trained to worry very often by the people in our family, by the people who raise us and care for us. We're trained to worry. So we see our mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers that they have a habit of worrying. And so as we grow up, we make the meaning of it that if you love someone, you worry about them. We make the meaning of it that if you're paying attention, you're worried. We make the meaning of it that somehow by worrying, we're keeping the bad stuff from happening. Now, in a sense, nothing could be further from the truth. It's true. And we're retraining our minds now. Now that we're realizing all thoughts produce form at some level, we're realizing that focusing on worry is producing form at some level. The number one form that worry is producing is that sense of anxiety and fear. So, because every time we're worrying, we're thinking and energizing and affirming that the world is not a safe place for us, and we need to be worried. We need to be afraid, be very afraid. So let's relax for a moment here. Now, Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of the Science of Mind teachings, which I have studied for years and years as a Science of Mind practitioner, my training at Agape with Michael Beckwith, and as a ministerial student at the Holmes Institute, and then at Agape, I've studied these teachings, which are very similar to A Course in Miracles. And the teaching really is that worry is the negative use of our faith. It is the negative use of our faith. It is a faith in a second power. It's a belief in two powers. So there's the power of God, which is for good, and then there's the power of evil, which is for negative. And when we worry, we're placing our faith in the power of negativity, in the power of evil. We're thinking that it's something that we need to be vigilant for and we need to watch for. So we're moving into an awareness of the oneness and the unity of all life, and that there are not two powers. So when we recognize that we're feeling anxious and we're feeling worried, one of the things that you can do is you can just drop into your heart and take that breath, connect in with the breath, connect to your heart with your breath. Take that deep breath of love and gratitude that I share about every day in the prayers that I offer every day. You can be my prayer partner with the prayer for today. And take that deep breath and tune into the heart. It takes a moment just to connect in and to affirm that there is one life and one power and one presence, and we're it. We are united in the love of God. So now Ernest Holmes, he taught about evil, and his definition of evil is that which appears to be destructive. That which appears to be destructive. So one thing that we can know is when there's the appearance of evil, the appearance of destruction, we can literally open our mind to see that whatever appears to be destructive is a call for love. It's a cry for love. Love is the healer. Love is constructive. So we're opening our hearts and minds to change our view rather than to judge what we see, to change our thinking about what we see. So instead of praying that something terrible doesn't happen, or praying to alleviate some problem, we begin to recognize that the only problem we have is we think we're separate from God, and it's not true. So we don't actually have any real problems. We only have perceptions about our life that can be shifted. This is very challenging, and the more challenging the circumstances that are, the more opportunity for healing there is. So when there's an incredible, intense attraction to thinking negative thoughts and to worrying, right there in that moment is the opportunity to have the deepest healing, the most powerful transformation. If you're willing to partner up with the living, loving presence of God, drop into your heart. Take that deep breath. I put my hand on my heart and I take that deep breath of love and gratitude. Placing my hand on my heart tunes me in to the presence of love, the kingdom which is within, the treasure which is within. And I'm reclaiming my divinity. I'm opening my mind to have a healing, making an offering of the thoughts of lack and attack. It is a moment-by-moment practice. So if you find that you're worrying, you can, as soon as you notice you're worrying, as soon as you notice that you feel a little anxious, you can say, oh, I must be putting my faith in a power other than God. And there is no power other than God. And I am willing to drop into my heart and know that right now, not just for myself, but for everyone and anyone who might also be worried right in this moment. So then we remember the unity of all life and the power of our mind to connect in to that sense of unity. It's a deep practice. It might not work for you immediately, but be willing to keep going with it. Because remember, we didn't become worriers overnight, right? It's a practice. We learned it as a habit, and we can unlearn it. It's so worth doing. Worrying is not the best use of our life energy. Loving is the best use of our life energy, and we can retrain our mind to remember who we really are. We are the love of God. You are the love of God. And we're walking the talk and living the love together. It's a beautiful practice. I'm so glad we're doing it together. Thanks for saying yes to love. If you like this video, please let me know. Hit the like button. Make a comment. Share at Facebook. I love you. Thank you.